What if the next time you land at a US airport, the rules you thought you understood suddenly don't apply anymore? Imagine stepping off a plane, passport in hand, only to discover that a brand new immigration policy could delay your entry, cancel your visa, or even send you back home before you ever leave the terminal. Sounds extreme? In 2026, it's becoming a reality for thousands of travelers, students, workers, and even green card holders trying to enter the United States. Right now, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services and border officials are rolling out major updates that could completely change the way people travel to America. From stricter airport screenings and expanded digital background checks to new visa interview requirements and shocking documentation rules, these changes are catching travelers off guard every single day. And the scariest part? Many people don't even realize the rules have changed until it's already too late. If you're planning to visit, study, work, or immigrate to the US in 2026, this video could save you from making a costly mistake. We're breaking down the 10 new immigration and entry rules that everyone needs to know before boarding a flight. Some of these updates are already causing confusion at airports across the country, while others could directly affect your approval status, processing time, or ability to re-enter the United States. So before you pack your bags or book your ticket, make sure you watch this video until the very end. One small misunderstanding could put your entire travel plan at risk. And if you want more urgent immigration updates, breaking visa news, and real-life travel alerts that could protect your future, hit that like button right now and let's get started. If you're still watching, it means you understand something important is happening right now with US immigration rules, and ignoring it could cost you time, money, and even your chance of entering the United States. The truth is, in 2026, the entire entry process into the US is becoming more strict, more digital, and in many cases, less forgiving than before. And while official updates continue to roll out gradually from United States Citizenship and Immigration Services and border authorities, what's really changing is not just the paperwork, but the way decisions are being made at every step of the journey. So let's talk honestly, like someone who wants you to avoid problems before they happen. Because whether you're a student dreaming of studying in America, a worker chasing better opportunities, or someone planning a simple visit, the rules you are used to are no longer enough. Many travelers still assume that if their visa is approved, everything is guaranteed. But that assumption is exactly what is getting people into trouble at airports, consulates, and border checkpoints. One of the biggest shifts in 2026 is the deeper screening process before you even board your flight. It's no longer just about your passport and visa stamp. Authorities are now relying heavily on expanded digital background systems that analyze travel history, social data patterns, financial consistency, and even inconsistencies in past applications. This means even small errors that were once ignored can now trigger delays or secondary questioning. And for many applicants, this is happening without warning. Another major change affecting travelers is the increased focus on interview consistency. In the past, visa interviews were often short and straightforward. But now, officers are trained to look for behavioral patterns, contradictions between documents, and even changes in your travel intent compared to previous applications. That means if your purpose of travel is not clearly aligned with your documents, even a minor mismatch can lead to refusal or administrative processing delays that stretch for weeks or months. There is also growing attention on documentation accuracy. In 2026, applicants are being advised more than ever to ensure that every form, every financial record, and every supporting document matches perfectly. Even small inconsistencies in employment letters, bank statements, or invitation letters can now raise red flags. And once flagged, your case may be pulled into additional verification processes that significantly slow down approval. But perhaps the most important shift is happening at the point of entry itself. Even with a valid visa, entry into the United States is not guaranteed. Border officers now have expanded authority to question travelers more deeply about their purpose, their stay duration, and their ties to their home country. This means that arriving prepared is no longer optional, it is essential. Travelers are expected to clearly explain their plans without confusion, hesitation, or contradiction. Another trend that is becoming more visible is the rise of real-time verification systems at airports. These systems cross-check your information instantly against multiple international databases. If anything appears outdated or inconsistent, it can trigger additional screening. And while most travelers will still pass smoothly, those who are unprepared or unaware of these systems often experience delays that can be stressful and unpredictable. At the same time, visa categories are also being reviewed more closely than before. Whether it's tourist visas, student visas, or work permits, each category is being monitored for misuse patterns. Authorities are paying closer attention to people who overstay, change status frequently, or fail to follow the exact conditions of their visa. As a result, even future applications can be impacted by past behavior, making compliance more important than ever. Now, here's something many people don't realize. Travel history is becoming one of the strongest factors in future approvals. If you have a clean record of entering and leaving the US properly, it strengthens your credibility. But if there are gaps, overstays, or unclear travel patterns, it can affect not just your current trip, but your long-term immigration chances as well. There is also an increasing emphasis on financial transparency. Applicants are now expected to show clear and consistent financial support for their stay. Sudden deposits, unclear income sources, or mismatched financial documents can raise concerns. Immigration officers want to ensure that travelers are not at risk of violating visa conditions due to financial instability. And while all of this may sound overwhelming, the purpose behind these changes is not to discourage travel, but to tighten security and ensure compliance. However, for the average traveler, it does mean one thing very clearly. Preparation matters more than ever before. Let's also talk about processing delays, because this is another major issue in 2026. Even simple applications that used to take a few weeks can now take longer due to increased verification steps. Background checks are more detailed, and interagency coordination means your application might pass through multiple layers of review before approval. This is why many people are now being advised to apply earlier than they think they need to. There is also a noticeable increase in secondary inspections at airports. This does not mean something is wrong with your case, but it does mean that randomness is decreasing. Systems are becoming more data-driven, meaning if your profile matches certain patterns, you may be selected for additional questioning. And while most of these checks are routine, they can still cause stress if you are not mentally prepared. Another important shift is in communication expectations. Immigration officers are now more attentive to how clearly and confidently travelers answer questions. Vague responses, hesitation, or inconsistent explanations can lead to deeper scrutiny. This is why understanding your own travel purpose in detail is now just as important as having the correct documents. For students and workers, there is also increased monitoring of institution and employer verification. Schools and companies are being more closely verified to ensure authenticity. This helps prevent fraud, but it also means applicants must be extra careful when choosing where they apply or work. And as all these changes continue to evolve, one thing becomes clear. The immigration process is no longer just paperwork. It is a full system of digital checks, human evaluation, and behavioral analysis. Every detail matters, from your application form to your interview answers to your arrival experience. So, what does this mean for you? It means you cannot rely on old assumptions anymore. What worked in previous years may not work the same way in 2026. It means preparation is not optional. It means understanding the process deeply can make the difference between smooth entry and unexpected delays. If you are planning to travel to the United States this year, take this seriously. Review your documents carefully. Understand your visa category. Be honest and consistent in every detail. And most importantly, stay updated, because rules can and do change without much warning. At the end of the day, travel to the United States is still possible, still achievable, and still life-changing for millions of people. But the difference now is that success depends on awareness. Those who understand the system move through it smoothly. Those who don't often face challenges they never saw coming. So before you book your flight, before you submit your application, and before you assume everything will go as it did.